Thank you.
Okay.
The meeting of the Shreveport City Council is now being called to order. Councilman Fleury will lead us with the invocation, and Councilwoman Fuller will lead us in pledge.
Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we come to you today with a thankful heart. We ask that you continue to bless our city, Lord. We pray for the workers, the employees of this city who go out daily to deliver services. We pray for their safety, that you will bless them. We pray for our mayor and the leadership of this city. God, you give us wisdom and knowledge. Forgive us of our sins. Go with us and guide us. Through Christ's holy name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Please cover your heart with your right hand and join with the little pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Councilman Brett. Councilman Fuller.
Present.
Councilman Nicholson.
Present.
Councilman Wilkins.
Present.
Councilman Fuller. Councilman Green.
Here.
And Councilman Bowman.
Here. Tomorrow, I entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the administrative conference and the council meeting from the 22nd and 23rd, and the amendment to the council meeting from April 9th. Okay. Does any council member have any awards or recognitions at this time? No. Mayor Perkins, you have any awards or communications at this time, sir?
I do. I want to say a happy belated Mother's Day for all the mothers that we have in the audience and that's tuning in. In the words of Abraham Lincoln, all that I am or hope to be, I owe to my mother. Very fitting. Due to inclement weather this past weekend, our 2019 Paint Your Heart Out Day was rescheduled to June 1st. So all those that were looking forward to participating, there will be another opportunity on June 1st. So looking forward to that event. And lastly, the governor declared a statewide emergency for the state of Louisiana due to all the inclement weather that we had. Our area experienced some significant flooding in some areas of the city, and our crews have been on hand to help keep our citizens safe, particularly in the flood zones. And I personally went out and toured around Ford Park area, some areas of the river, and around School Park area myself, and saw some of the damage. So even if your neighborhood wasn't impacted, just please keep the other Shreveporters in your thoughts and prayers who have experienced some damage to their homes and in their neighborhoods, and who suffered power outages and the likes. So that concludes my remarks, Mr. Chair.
All right. Thank you, Mayor Perkins. Mr. Green, property standards, Mr. Green. Anyone have any questions or concerns relative to property standards? And, did you speak with Councilman Green about the issue we were speaking about earlier?
That'll be the mobile home on Broadway.
Yeah, I think she called me about the, she wanted to pay her taxes on it. Is that the one?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Maybe you can follow up with him later. Just some follow up. Okay. I think that's it. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
All right. Ms. Jones, Revenue Connection Plan, City Attorney, Fortune. All right. No public hearing today. Ms. Jones, is there any legislation to be added tomorrow?
Not that we're aware of.
All right. We have the following request to speak.
Mr. Tom Arsenault.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Chairman, my name is Tom Arsenault, 333 Texas Street, Suite 700, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71101. I am here about zoning case C-2419, which is ordinance number 54. That's a little small tract of land at the corner of East 70th Street and East Burt Coons that's zoned residential currently. The owner has requested for the MPC to consider C2 zoning as opposed to the C3, so we would like, on behalf of the applicant, I'm requesting that you tomorrow send that case back to the MPC so that it can consider a zoning other than C3. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
And that's at East Burt Coons.
Yes, sir, East Burt Coons.
It's right there in front of the, Mr. Chairman, it's right there in front of the sleep clinic, right there at Dixie Garden, kind of close to Jill's Gymnastics.
Okay.
Across
Gotcha.
the street there.
Gotcha.
I think it's just a little tract of land, and
Yeah.
I think the lady spoke to us at the last meeting,
I remember.
and I think she's
And it is
retained
residential, yeah.
Mr.
Okay.
Mr. Arsenault to represent her, so I would have no trouble sending it back to the NPC.
That's our request. I'll be here briefly tomorrow, and hopefully I'll take this or less time tomorrow. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Arsenault. Lauren Ray Anderson.
So, Lauren Anderson, 247 East Lister Street, 71101. I just had a couple requests today regarding our infrastructure in Shreveport. I don't know if y'all are working on it or not, but the downtown fountain, the in-ground fountain, if we could get that up and going before summertime, that'd be wonderful, because it's a great place for people to gather and hang out. It's good for people, friends, families, to get together and play there. The next thing I wanted to request is that the interchange just south of downtown at I-20 and Market Street be cleaned up. It's been covered in garbage and debris, I want to say going on years now. It's disgusting, for one. I hate having to see it every day, but it is a representation of our city, and whenever somebody drives down our interstates, they decide whether or not to stop in Shreveport, and if they're seeing that, they're probably not going to want to stop. And then just a little comment, driving around Shreveport, I see, like, sportsman's paradise. We have a lot of water. Water breeds life. So we have a lot of weeds and stuff growing up in our roads and on our bridges specifically. Whenever you have, like, wildlife, plant life growing in bridges, it creates space and it jeopardizes the structural integrity of the structure. So I would hope that whoever's responsible for that could, take some of that stuff that gets rid of weeds out there so we can have safe bridges and roads. And that's it for today.
Had you reached out to any department and spoke to anyone about your concerns, any of those concerns? Or you
Which
just
one?
Here? Well, it sounds like most of them are with Public Works for one. So you hadn't called, you just came?
I called Public Works about the debris on Gilbert one time because Gilbert has, I think it was Public Works. Honestly, I can't remember. And to be honest, I'm still learning all of the departments and who's responsible for what. That's why I'm here, to learn.
Right.
So if y'all could give me some direction, you have my contact information, that'd be great.
I'll send you an email copy of all the departments also. We'll get that to
Wonderful.
you. Okay.
Thanks.
Yes, ma'am. That's it.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Ms. Jones, I've also noticed that the interchange at 20 and Market is in poor condition, and I wonder if we could have staff address that.
Yep, no taken.
Thank you.
All right. Councilman Bradford, did you have anything? You wasn't standing here at first.
Mr. Chairman, nothing.
Okay. We have the following executive appointments to be considered tomorrow.
Mr. Chairman, the administration would like to request for the 2 Shreveport Airport Authority appointments to be removed from
Okay.
the agenda.
Good deal.
And Mr. Chairman, the city attorney pointed out to me that we've recently received information regarding Courtney Ray, who will be up for confirmation as assistant city attorney. Ms. Creel has expressed that she really could use the help in the city attorney's office and would like to bring Ms. Ray on board as soon as possible. And so if we can find the time this afternoon, I'd like to suggest that she speak to us now and that we consider suspending the rules tomorrow and confirming her tomorrow.
Sounds good to me.
And she is present. I
She is
understand.
present right now? I have no problem or issue with her coming up now, if that's okay with council.
Hello.
Ms. Ray, Courtney Ray, am I correct? All right. You just want to, if you want to ask some questions or give me the background.
Ms. Ray, if you'd first just give us a little background on your professional experience and what you anticipate doing in the city attorney's office, please.
Yes, sir. I have graduate of LSU Law in 2015. I was a law clerk at the Third Circuit Court of Appeal for 2 judges, and then I have spent the past 20-so months for the federal government working for Social Security disability adjudication.
What have you done in that last position?
It was similar to prior law clerk experience where the judges would make decisions on disability hearings, and it was our job to read the medical records and support the decision one way or the other.
And what will you be doing for the city attorney's office here?
Prosecuting the misdemeanors and traffic violations.
Very good. And I see Gina, Louisiana on your resume. My family's from Gina. Are you from Gina?
No, sir. I worked for Judge Jimmy Peters.
All right. Well, and you enjoyed your time in the metropolis, I'm sure.
I did. It was,
Okay, good.
yes,
Well, I'm glad to
booming
hear
city.
that. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all I have.
Okay. Anyone else, any questions?
Mr. Chairman?
Councilman
Ms.
Farrell?
B-
Please, sir.
That caught my ear, Gina. What did you say you did in Gina?
I was a law clerk for Judge Jimmy C. Peters on the Third Circuit Court of Appeal.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else, Councilman Brown?
Nothing, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Ms. Makisha, you have anything you want to add to this?
I would just like to thank the council for indulging me in this request. I currently have one prosecutor who's about 36 weeks pregnant, and having Ms. Ray there as soon as possible will be a great help to our office, and I think she's going to be a huge value add at City Court because she really is interested in litigation and working with the city and for the city.
Okay. All right. Mr. Thompson, you know Ms. Ray?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Ms. Ray. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Okay. We also have for assistant to
Chairman.
this. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to give you guys a little housekeeping note. To confirm her appointment tomorrow, it's about a 3-step process. Just to give you the heads up today, under the open meetings law, you'll have to add it to the agenda, and that's a unanimous consent or a vote for all of you to add. The second thing you'll have to do is then suspend the rules to take up the appointment because your rules say it has to lay over for 2 weeks, and that takes a 2/3 vote. And then the last step is that you would vote on her appointment, and that would be a simple majority.
Do it all tomorrow, correct?
You can do it all tomorrow. It's just those steps I just listed. It's 3 steps, and each step takes a different type of vote.
Okay. All right. I'm sure you'll keep us in line tomorrow when I mess up. So
Yes, sir.
All right. Assistant to the Superintendent of Streets and Drainage will be Edward Savannah, and Assistant to the Assistant Director of Recreation Athletic Division of SPAR will be Pershing Miro. And those are the only ones for tomorrow. There are no items on the consent agenda for introduction to be adopted. Ms. Jones, can you proceed with regular agenda item?
Resolution 57 is authorizing the mayor to accept a monetary donation of $75,000 from Judah and Astrid Hertz to the city of Shreveport, Louisiana, to be utilized by the Shreveport Public Assembly and Recreation Department for Project SWIM. Resolution 58 is accepting dedication of the streets and servitudes for utilities and drainage as shown on the right-of-way dedication plat, The Grove. Resolution 59 to recognize Ralph D. Valentine and to dedicate the 3400 and 3500 blocks of Mansfield Road for his commitment and contributions to the city of Shreveport. Resolution 60, a resolution whereby the mayor is making a recommendation to the city council for its approval regarding the amount and type of various insurance premiums, and to authorize the mayor to execute payment to the agent of record for the purpose of binding insurance.
All right.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Butcher?
on resolution number 59, I'm going to ask that we postpone that till our next regular meeting.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? That's it? Ms. Jones, would you proceed with the introduction of resolution?
Resolution 61, authorizing the Shreveport Airport Authority to execute a permanent right-of-way and easement with Southwestern Electric Power Company. Resolution 62 is adopting the System Survey and Compliance Questionnaire required by the Legislative Auditor's Office of the State of Louisiana. Resolution 63, authorizing the mayor to accept a monetary donation of $20,000 from the Brookshire Grocery Company to the city of Shreveport, Louisiana, to be utilized by the Shreveport Police Department and the Shreveport Fire Department. Resolution 64, selecting the Times as the official journal for the City of Shreveport for the period commencing July 1, 2019 through June 30, 2020. Resolution 65, approving the budget for the Caddo Shreveport Sales and Use Tax Commission for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2019.
Okay. Vice Chair Nicholson.
Mr. Thompson, what roughly do we spend publishing our minutes in the Times every year? And if I'm putting you on the spot, you don't know, that's fine. I'm just trying to get a sense of the expenditure.
Let us give that to you in a few minutes.
Okay. Do we have any, is there any other option? I know, or no?
No.
Because they're the only newspaper that's published here?
Well, the biggest thing is we could do it, I suppose, in the Sun, except for the fact that we have to have it done within 7 days of the council meeting. And so that's the only newspaper that can publish it.
They can do it
that
that
meets the
time.
criteria within 7 days of the council meeting.
And it's state law that we have to put it in a newspaper.
That's correct.
Yeah. So
And the state law also states what the minimum rate that we will charge. So the only option we have is how much we put into the paper.
very good. Thank you.
Ms. Jones, proceed with the introduction of ordinances, please.
Ordinance 58, rescinding ordinances 33 of 2009, 54 of 2011, and 136 of 2013, and removing vehicular flow restrictions on Baker Street, Fannin Street, and North Street in Section 37. Ordinance 57 is to create and establish a no-through truck route on Mackey Lane between Joella Avenue and Walker Road pursuant to Section 90-123 and Section 90-124 of the Code of Ordinances. Ordinance 60, creating a stop intersections in the Lucian Field Estates within the city limits of the City of Shreveport. Ordinance 61 is amending the 2019 Riverfront Development Fund budget. Ordinance 62 is zoning case 19-300-C, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the City of Shreveport Unified Development Code by rezoning property located between 4th Street and Crutchwell Avenue, approximately 425 feet northeast of Marshall Street, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from 1 MU Industrial Mixed Use District to I-2 Heavy Industrial District. Ordinance 63, zoning case 19-303-C, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the City of Shreveport Unified Development Code by rezoning property located on the northwest corner of Greenwood Road and Danny R. Wimberley Road, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from C3 General Commercial District to C4 Heavy Commercial District. Ordinance 64, zoning case 19-305-C, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the City of Shreveport Unified Development Code by rezoning property located on the southwest corner of Linwood Avenue and West 63rd Street, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from R15 Single Family Residential District to I1 Light Industrial District.
Okay. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Councilwoman Fuller.
Thank you, Chair. I received some concerned phone calls from neighbors to the case Ordinance 64. And I just wanted to bring that to your attention that that is going from a residential to a light industrial adjacent people's homes. And I was a little concerned about it, but I think it might have passed unanimously with the MPC. But considering that we all had such strong feelings about industrial adjacent residential recently, that y'all might want to go ahead and give that a look-see to see how you feel about it. It's for a mechanics shop, I believe, adjacent. It's the area, they're oriented facing Linwood, and this is going to be behind that area adjacent to neighbors on 63rd Street. That's all I wanted to point out. Thank you.
You said the residents?
The residents, a gentleman had all of his neighbors sign a petition against it, and he was fairly concerned when they didn't get any traction or any conversation from the MPC about it.
Mr. Chairman, on the map, am I looking at this right, that it's surrounded by industrial? It looks like it's just one little sliver that was R1. They're trying to, I mean, it's got some residential behind it, but corner of 63rd and Linwood, it looks like that pretty much everything around it is industrial. that right?
There's residential west and south, like a residential buffer, and then there's a commercial one south right there. And they're trying to go, I think that what they're trying to do is, oh, I see it, it's just this little piece right here.
That's the last one, right?
Yeah.
It
So
looks-
no, I mean, there's industrial across the street, but it's commercial, and then that little piece of residential.
Well, it looks like right around it, a button, it's I-1 as well.
Actually, why is there this industrial way over here? The one at the west edge of it. That's a whole story for another day. Okay.
Yeah.
Just told me not to bring it up.
All right. All right. Ms. Jones, would you proceed with ordinances on second reading and final passage, please?
Ordinance 27 to repeal and replace Article 7 purchases in Chapter 26 Finance of the City of Shreveport, Louisiana Code of Ordinances relative to purchases. Ordinance 44 is amending the City of Shreveport, Louisiana 2019 General Fund Budget. Ordinance 50 amending the City of Shreveport, Louisiana 2019 Capital Improvements Budget. Ordinance 51, an ordinance amending the 2019 General Fund Budget. Ordinance 52 is amending the 2019 General Fund Budget. Ordinance 53 to amend and reenact certain sections of Chapter 94 of the Code of Ordinances, City of Shreveport, Louisiana, relative to utilities. Ordinance 54, zoning case number C-24-19, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the City of Shreveport Unified Development Code by rezoning property located on the southwest corner of East 70th Street and East Burt Coons Industrial Loop, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from R17 Single Family Residential District to C3 General Commercial District. Ordinance 55 is zoning case number C-25-19, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the City of Shreveport Unified Development Code by rezoning property located on 1925 Cross Lake Boulevard, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from C1 Neighborhood Commercial District to R17 Single Family Residential District. Ordinance 56 is zoning case number C-27-19, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the City of Shreveport Unified Development Code by rezoning property located on the west side of Linwood Avenue between Bollinger Street and Wilkinson Street, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from I-2 Heavy Industrial District to C3 General Commercial District to C4 Heavy Commercial District. Ordinance 57 is zoning case number C-30-19, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the City of Shreveport Unified Development Code by rezoning property located on the southeast corner of West Burt Coons Industrial Loop and Westport, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from C3 General Commercial District to I-1 Light Industrial District.
All right. Councilman Butcher.
Mayor, has there been any, ordinance number 44, has there been any conversations with the school board on y'all's end? Maybe the chief, I think, I'd like to also talk to Chief Raymond too about this, if that's okay.
No, we haven't sit down and had any formal conversations. This is some legislation that was generated by council, so if you have any specific questions you'd like us to ask and engage in, then we'd be happy to sit and talk.
Okay. Chief, just real quick, I kind of wanted to kind of update the council from the Public Safety Committee meeting. You had sent a couple of emails to me in reference to, I think that it was discussed at the Public Safety Committee meeting that we were going to possibly try to do some type of study, Chairman. I think we talked about that, trying to see where we needed these crossing guards. And Chief, you have some information on that, don't you?
Yes, so we reached out to Public Works, and there are a couple of options there, really three options, I guess. One is that we contract a company to provide that service. The positive or the pros of that is it would be done in more of a timely manner, but it would cost, what was estimated to us from Public Works is about $30,000, which obviously would be a negative. Second option was we could do it in-house. We, being our Public Works, could do that, but that would take up to a year and a half because there's so many locations. They have to go out there. Now that school ends this week, but actually be next year before they get started, and there's apparently a certain amount of time they have to spend at each location that a crossing guard is located to determine whether or not they need to be there or not. So there's a lengthy process. The third option would be that I could take a supervisor that most recently supervised the crossing guards for over the last year, that's familiar with the locations that he believes are not being utilized appropriately, or that we don't have a lot of children crossing, and we could make those specific recommendations to Public Works, who could initially go by those locations and agree, yes, we do not need a crossing guard here, or say, no, as a matter of fact, there was quite a bit of traffic. So we could kind of narrow down the number of locations.
I personally like the third option. I think the supervisor that does the crossing guards, I think he has enough experience with that. That's what he does. But I would want the administration and legal to kind of guide us with this a little bit. But I don't want to push this much longer. I mean, I think that we need to move on this. That there is some budgetary restraints that we have, and I don't believe we're going to be able to continue to subsidize the amount that we're subsidizing. I would rather see us put that back into the police department. But I don't know where we go from here, Chairman. Do we have a resolution to have the police department look into this? What do we do?
I mean, luckily it is the summer, and I think that option 3 is the best route to go at this particular time. And we'll just go ahead and move forward and see what he comes up with, and we'll go from there.
And Mr. Chair,
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, Mr. Chairman, since this is your legislation, and Councilman Boucher, we've spoke about it as well. We can sit with school board representatives as well and iron this out to make sure it's as painless as possible for both parties.
I think that's what I have conveyed to several school board members that have called me about it. That the administration and the council is going to work with them to make it as painless as possible. However, we can't continue to subsidize this, and we've got. And I commend the administration and Councilman Bowman for moving forward with this, because we can't continue to subsidize this, and we also can't have crossing guards when we don't have any children crossing. It's ridiculous. So I just would like for us to move on with option 3, if that's what we can decide to do.
Sounds good to me.
I can get that list to Public Works of our recommendations, and they can move from there.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it.
Anything else, Councilman Butcher?
That's it. No, sir.
All right, Councilman Bradford.
Mr. Chairman, while I agree that option 3 would appear to be the best way we proceed with this situation, I don't think that the urgency is to the point that has been expressed. Now, I mean, I don't understand. Help me understand, Councilman Butcher. Out of all the expenses that are related to our budget, crossing guards would be a priority to move expeditiously to cut out. I mean, there are a ton of what I see situations to where we need to review and address to save budget funds. I think we would be disingenuous if we did not proceed with the conversation with the school board. I mean, I'm just wondering, one day on August the 16th, when school starts, there's no crossing guards on the streets of Shreveport because the school board refuses to participate because they say they don't have any funds. Kids get hit on the streets by a car. Who's liable for that? Not the school board, because it's a city street. I'm saying I think we need to move with caution to make sure that the city of Shreveport and the school board is in agreement on how we would proceed with this. And I don't think saving $75,000 should be the primary factor. There are millions of dollars that need to be put on the table when we start talking about next year's budget. And I just don't think we picking at the low fruit, something that, picking on children, just like what happened with some of the conversation with the school board tax renewal. I'm just saying, if we're gonna start talking about cutting budgets, I think we need to put everything on the table and not just start picking at this and that and the other, and let's do a totality review of what we need to start cutting, and let's move with that process, and not just saying let's look at cutting crossing guards. But I do believe that the school board should be in the conversation, And I do believe that the option that the chief would present it would be the most reasonable. But I think, Mr. Chairman, we need to postpone this until we get to some resolve.
I'm glad you brought up about the school board and their tax, their renewal, because they got more money than we got.
Mr. Chairman, let's not,
And we did not say cut out the school. We're not talking about cutting out the crossing guard. I just want to add that in now. I'm going to let Councilman Nicholson speak, but we didn't talk about, we didn't say we're going to cut it out.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm not up for that.
Mr. Chairman, we discussed in a recent Public Safety Committee meeting the fact that the City of New Orleans, in conjunction with the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development, developed a school crossing guard policy. And in that policy, it indicated that at least in New Orleans, every private school, every school district, every charter school is responsible for funding and managing its own crossing guards. I would like to know what is done in other communities in the state. What we're talking about is a deviation from long practice here. We funded this for many years, but Chairman Bowman is right that we are very fiscally constrained at the city level, and while $250,000, which is in the range of what we pay for these crossing guards every year, is not going to solve our budget problems. It is a start. I think we've got to look both at expenditures of that size and larger expenditures, and I hope and expect that when we begin the process of negotiating the budget for 2020, that we are looking for millions of dollars of cuts, because we've got to make those cuts to bring the city to a place of solvency and stability. Thank you.
Councilman Butcher.
Just for the record, I have said at the last meeting that I didn't want us to move too fast on this, Councilman. I want us to take our time, but in the Public Safety Committee meeting, we tasked the chief with coming up with some solutions of how we could do studies, and we do have some time. It's not like, it's not like we're up against some kind of time restraint, but this is not my legislation. I just took it up in the Public Safety Committee. The mayor and I have talked about it. We tasked the mayor with finding ways to cut. Also believe that, according to my conversation with Chief Raymond, this has been something that carried over from the previous administration that we've been trying to get something done on. I'm not saying that it's something that we have to do right this second, but I don't want us, we've been pushing it down the road since 1987, since Chief Gruber was the police chief. So we need to make some diligent efforts to work with the school board and find out exactly where we do need these crossing guards. And I in no way would ever want to endanger any children or anything like that. I just think that we have to start this conversation, and I think that the chief did exactly what we told him to do in the Public Safety Committee meeting, and I just wanted an update on that. So thank you.
All right. And Councilman Bradford, I hate that you said you weren't up for a debate. You always seem like you're up for a debate, so I was just putting some facts out there. So,
Mr. Chairman, you was errant in saying that the bond that passed on last Saturday was dedicated for crossing guards. That money
no,
was
I didn't.
dedicated
No.
Well, you said they had more money than we had.
Period. Point blank is what I said. They had more money than we did is what I said. I didn't say the money that they got was earmarked for that.
My apologies.
Okay. We have no. Yes, I'm sorry, Councilman Green.
I guess this would be to the city attorney. Since I work for the city, will I be able to be a crossing guard?
Let us research that and get that.
What did it say, Jeff? What did it say?
She don't know yet. She got to check it out.
We'll think
You interested, Councilman Fleur? You interested too?
I'm about it today.
All right, Mr. Thompson, do we have any table legislation to be removed?
No, sir.
All right, there are no other appeals.
No
I thought we had a
appeals.
property standard appeal.
Oh, we had what?
We don't have a property. I thought we did. Okay. No ABOs. Are there any other appeals, Mr. Thompson? No.
We have no other appeals.
All right. Are there any reports from officers, boards, committee? And, Clerk's report, Mr. Thompson.
Beside the appointment of the mayor, of the assistant city attorney, which you've already discussed and heard from, we had appointments to the Historical Preservation Commission, Jasmine Jernigan, Dr. Frederick Washington, and Dr. Cheryl White.
Okay.
All of those are for 3-year terms.
All right. No executive session. Is there anything else from anyone? Councilman Green.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to invite the city council, mayor, and also the general public on next Sunday. I'll announce it again tomorrow. And our 9 o'clock service, our governor will be worshiping with us, and you all are invited. As my grandmama would say, you're welcome once, you're welcome twice, you're welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Green. Councilman Bradford.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I have 2 appreciations and I need to say this. Let me first start with the fire chief. I want to commend the fire chief. First of all, I want to commend him for and his team for canvassing the Cherokee Park neighborhood on Saturday last, installing smoke detectors throughout the neighborhood. I joined them along with some other volunteers, and we worked that morning, and I think we passed out over 30, I think, Chief. Was it that many?
94 were installed.
How many?
94.
Okay, that was my team that did 30. Okay. but it was a very positive undertaking, and I appreciate that. But I especially want to thank him for what happened on what night the lights went out. Thursday. In Allendale and throughout the city, but in Allendale specifically, Mr. Chairman, the power went out throughout the neighborhood, but especially at Canaan Towers. Canaan Towers is an elderly and complex. You have to be at least 68 to live there. Plus, they also have people who have disabilities, people that's in wheelchairs, and people who can't maneuver themselves. So as you can imagine, once the lights went out at 3 o'clock the morning of Thursday, and remained out throughout the day and into the night, the fire department, led by Chief Wilmington, was very sensitive to the Canaan Village residents, and they went there and they took out and evacuated everybody off the main floors. It has 8 floors. There's people that was stranded on those floors for several hours who hadn't had any food or water, and the fire department went into action and moved everybody downstairs. But they didn't stop there. He called me again. He called me throughout the evening and gave me an update on this. So I finally went over there. But my point is that his last maneuver was, because he was engaged with the SWEPCO as well, and he told SWEPCO, if you do not restore power in this apartment complex, and he gave him a reasonable time, and that reasonable time was somewhere around 9:30 that night, then he was going to proceed, because he had contacted Homeland Security and the Red Cross. He was going to proceed in evacuating the whole complex to shelters and to other places that they could have a comfortable night. And the proactiveness about that was great. But he did something else, because the manager of the department had went home, and it was sort of like an evacuation of the premises. And the chief had his inspectors to locate her and have her come back to the site. And it was nothing to really play with, in the sense that, you know, it was a serious endeavor, because she was responsible for the care of those residents, and the inspectors was very firm and explained to her negligence in leaving and without contacting anybody to help remove or to care for those residents. So they was firm, but they was fair. They was fair with her. And the lights came back on at 9:15 on Thursday night. And in the interim, the chief had made preparations to look at having sports train buses to come out to allow the residents to sit on the bus. And he had 40 cases of water, cold water, to be brought to the complex so that the residents would have cold water. But like I said, once those things was available, the water was there, the residents took advantage of that, but they also was happy that the fire department was there to assist them and to make whatever provision that was made. I think that was, Chief, what was great leadership. I want to thank you for that. Let's give him a hand if y'all don't mind. And my second commendation is going to go to the Chief of Police, Chief Ben Raymond. There was a meeting at Winfield Funeral Home on last Tuesday night. It was a meeting that had drew a lot of concerned citizens regarding the shooting and the killing of Anthony Childs. You remember the story, I'm sure. Chief Raymond and the coroner, Dr. Tuber, came to that meeting. And they sit there, and the residents and others almost tried to prosecute the case at Winfield Funeral Home. And the chiefs sit there and took everything that was levied against him. They called him all kind of different liars and conspiracies, and he never lost his cool, because he said that he followed proper procedure. Same thing happened with the coroner. Now, I don't know who all would have sit there. I think I'd have got up and walked out after I got called a liar so many times and accused of a cover-up so many times. But he didn't do that. He sit there and he answered all the questions to the best of his ability. And I know that that things like this is a process. It takes a process to come to any resolve. Who didn't show up was the district attorney, and he should have been there, because if these gentlemen had the courage to sit there and to respond to all the questions and allegations that was levied against them, so should have the district attorney, and express why he felt like he did not have to prosecute the case, or he didn't have to even look at the case. All the residents said, well, why didn't the DA show up and tell us what criteria did he use to say that, as it was ruled, it was not reviewable as it relates to indictment. But nevertheless, I was proud of the chief of police, and I want to thank him for coming and being so professional in your duty as chief of police, because you didn't have to come. And I told them you didn't have to come, but you did, and you took whatever was said. But I won't say it to the council. Now, the way they was talking, some residents going to be here tomorrow to continue to express their frustration about that situation. And I want us to be as diligent as the chief was. I want to sit here and understand it and listen to the complaints and to the expressions of those that may show up here and talk about this situation. It may fall upon us to do something to seek some type of response on why, what we can do to make this not happen again, Mayor. I don't know what we can do, but there may be some options that we can take to make sure that this doesn't happen again. According to Chief, according to the coroner, everything that was required was followed to procedure. But there has to be some options on what we can do to make sure this doesn't happen again. Now, all I'm saying is that one of the options that they presented was that maybe the council could petition the legislature, because we know we're under a civil service ordinance, so we can't do a whole lot. But they want to see if we can at least look at having some type of citizen review committee. I don't know if that's real or what, but I'm just saying that if they should come, let's give them the same respect and patience that the chief of police did. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Bradford.
Mr. Chairman, can I add, Mayor Perkins, to that? Well, first of all, Councilman Bradford, just kind of going through the numbers. I want to commend you for being very much in tune with your district. We were on the phone late Thursday night with the Canaan Towers, with everything that was going on over there, and that meant a lot, I'm sure, to our citizens, to see you out there working with them and being in constant communication with myself and Chief Wolverton. So thank you for being there. Thank you for letting us know what was going on there, so we can help serve some of the most vulnerable in our community. That meant a lot for us. And also, just to second what you said about Chief Wolverton and his leadership, not only was he at the towers that night, but he was, racing throughout the city. I got updates on our critical flood areas throughout that day and throughout the weekend, along with weather reports. And, his staff would go out into neighborhoods and see rising water levels and put out roadblock signs and call Public Works. And also, speaking of Public Works, our SPAR department helped deliver water that night as well. So it was a joint effort from the city of Shreveport to make sure we were doing all we could for our citizens. So I commend you for that. And as far as, I'd like to second your commendation for Chief Raymond as well, for him going out to the neighborhood. He really embodies our principle of community-oriented policing. And so, it was very brave of him to go out there and listen to citizens, and he's going to continue to do that. We've had conversations. He'll continue to do that, and I'll continue to do that as well. So I just wanted to second your commendations and commend you as well, Councilman. Thank you.
And Mayor, and Mr. Chairman, I want to apologize to the mayor, because the mayor and I were in communications as well on Thursday night. And
I wasn't bringing it up for me.
No, but I should have said that, because you was prepared to move in whatever assistance that you could have given as well. It was late. You had a previous appointment, and yet you was responsive to get back and was willing to, whatever we need to do. You said, Councilman, whatever we need to do, let me know and we'll do it. Okay, and I appreciate that effort as well.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go back to Mr. Art.
Mr. Chairman, Tanya firmly reminded me that I failed to inform you that because Memorial Day will be Monday, May the 27th, that our regular administrative conference will be scheduled for Friday, May the 24th. So, and the regular meeting will be on Tuesday, but you may want to look at your schedules and change them.
We all voted and said we were going to be here on Memorial Day. I'm just joking. Okay. All right. Everybody got that? 24. Okay. Councilman Fleur, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to compliment the administration. I saw something today, was a beautiful sight, a street sweeper on Caddo Street, and it looked like it was one of our new ones, and so that's the first time in 4 years and some months that we've been able to see, and it really was working great, and so I want to compliment the administration for finally getting street sweepers out. Thank you, Mayor.
With vacuums.
With vacuums.
All right. Mayor Perkins, is that an old one or is that another question to speak? Okay. Any other council member? Councilman Green, I know you had something.
I'm done.
Normally you catch me right before, I'm just making sure.
I'm done, Mr. Chair.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, then this meeting is adjourned.